With midterm elections just around the corner, American voters are rushing to their computers to educate themselves on the two pressing matters of the heated debate between left and right, Democrat and Republican. And those two issues, right now, according to The Atlantic, who stated this in 2022, are the issues of abortion and inflation. So, because of these two issues being hot topics, especially within the midterms coming up shortly, following us in March, the question that we are posed with today is, what is going to be the hot buzzer issue that leads the midterms? Is it going to be abortion rights or inflation? Therefore, to answer the question as to what the more pressing matter is going to be, we're going to be looking in three key areas of analysis to understand how the overarching issue of discussion will be abortion rights, most likely coming and following us with the midterms. And we're going to be looking at those in three key areas of analysis. Number one, by understanding how abortion directly impacts the economics of women. Number two, understanding the demographic of America's voters. And number three, understanding the long-term impacts and implications of abortion rights being repressed. So to begin with, when we start today's discussion as to understanding how abortion rights are going to be the leading indicator of the swing of midterm elections, we have to understand that first and foremost, there is a direct correlation between abortion rights and the economic implication for America's women. According to Psychology Today, they stated on September 1st of 2022 that abortion rights directly impact the well-being of American women first and foremost mentally by giving them a constrained mind and a repressed image of the future. And what this implies is that without the understanding that you're going to be able to live a safe, stable, and self-determined life in the future, one's ability to think clearly, logically, and have emotional stability often becomes deterred. Now, with American women having little to no access to abortion care within the United States, this leaves them in a bad situation with having to either, number one, travel outside of state borders to go and get unsafe medical care, or number two, being forced with the choice of raising an unwanted pregnancy up to full term, thus leaving them with a large implication of financial burden. According to NPR, they stated on August 21st of 2022 that women who are forced to make the choice of going across state borders face one of two things. Either they can get the abortion and risk their livelihood and their lives due to unsafe practices, or B, they can risk also being sent to prison. Now, either one of those two things comes at a very great societal disadvantage to them because of these social stigmas surrounding abortions in today's modern status quo, which could both risk their jobs and livelihoods and also put constraints on their family ties, often leaving them fatherless or, in that case, without parental support in today's modern times. Now, without these two factors being implied, we see that this also impacts women of today's America with lots of severe societal debt and financial burden. Going on, TheLine.com stated in their publication section just 2 days ago, in fact, that women who are often trying to seek for parental leave in the workplace are often seen to be ignored or denied in some cases because, unsurprisingly, 36% of all of American births and pregnancies are out of wedlock, meaning that the woman has no ties to the husband in the situation of the pregnancy. Therefore, when trying to seek out parental leave, often this becomes constrained because businesses legally are not required to recognize out of wedlock child pregnancies or out of wedlock there is no such thing as an out-of-wedlock marriage, but they are not legally obligated to recognize out-of-wedlock children's pregnancies. Therefore, women are often left with dealing with a whole 3 years of financial burden until they are able to put their children in either a daycare, for which they will have to pay double the expenses that they had previously for paying for childcare, as we do not have universal childcare within the United States, or they could grow and have their child with them for up until age 5 when they are able to start the legal U.S. public educational system, in which either case they would have been without work for 5 years, which leaves a significant strain on the women of America today, showing that, again, this is going to be a hot topic issue affecting America's women, more closely affecting the women's ability to have social and political as well as economic stratification. Going on to our second topic of analysis today, we have to understand the demographic of America, which happens to be 50% men and 50% women. Now, according to Reuters.com, we see that within America, not just America, but the entire world, there is a relatively good split between the amount of women and men that we have within the society. Now, what this means in the greater realm of things is America having, again, such great social influence on other countries and other nations will pave the way for new legislation and laws to be passed in other nations, meaning that whenever America's women are given such heavy social stratification and burdens when it comes to their own reproductive rights, other countries will follow suit. And again, with every single nation having about an equal 50-50 split within the women and males in their country, this shows that not only will there be more financial strain put on the women of almost nearly every single country within the globe, this will also show that paving the way for new generations of lawmakers and legislation will be externally very difficult, because in the more repressed or more conservative states or nations, likely there will not be any social change made in securing reproductive rights in the future. And this leads us to our last and concluding point of analysis today, which is that when it comes down to the societal implications of the elections, or more specifically, whether or not inflation is going to be a more impactful point of analysis or abortion, we have to see that with America's geopolitical sphere shifting towards a leftward swing, this means that although, again, inflation does impact all of us, abortion rights happen to be a more pressing matter, especially seeing these rights have been guaranteed to American women for almost a whole generation in the past. According to BBC.com, actually, the implications of abortion rights in America are much larger than just societal or economic, but rather a lasting impact on education, and gender equality will also be seen to be deprived for many generations of American youth today. So, for all of these three reasons, we can see that in the upcoming midterm, abortion rights will be held higher than that of inflation. Thank you.